Welcome back, everybody. Happy Tuesday, obviously, like I said. Welcome back on the clock. I'm Jackson Reed, co-host, as always, Jordan Ziegler and Dylan Vanderveen. Fellas, we had fall break last week, but we still were able to conjure up some locks for last week. You know, the same typical deal, NCAA and NFL. This week is a little bit different, but quick recap of last week before we roll into this week's NFL locks. Let's flash that scoreboard up one time for the people at home. I did really well last week. I'm at 6-0, 25, 11, and 3 on the year. Dylan Vanderveen, 17, 20, and 2, 3 and 3 last week. And Ziegler, how about the young man? Coming from the depths of nothing. Goes 5-1 last week to make him just 6 games under 500.
I can't be last, man. I can't be last.
Slowly but surely, we're making our way back up.
But fellas, what were your best picks of the week? Your worst picks of the week? Just break it down for us for the people at home who didn't get to see our locks from last week because we didn't have a show.
I guess I'll go first. I took Oklahoma State plus 3.5. TCU was actually favored in that game. Thought Oklahoma State was going to win outright. They did not, but they covered. So that was a little surprise. But yeah, I had some reserves about coming on today. My best week was when I just did it from my apartment. So
you're facing the music again.
I know. I'm a little bit worried how this one's going to go. But last week went well, so I'm happy about that.
Yeah, I had the Bucks game and the Pittsburgh game. I don't know how the Bucks did not win that game. Kenny Pickett got knocked out in that game, and they still didn't win it. So I don't understand that.
Not only did they not cover, they didn't even win.
Yeah, they didn't even win that game. So, I mean, that was the one that one missed. And then I had the over in the Seattle and Arizona game. That one wasn't even close. So
a little 19-9 NFC West action.
That didn't even make it that barely made it halfway.
Defense is coming around.
It really is.
It's coming around kind of well.
But, fellas, let's roll into this week's NFL lock, something more topical. I get to start this week going 6-0 last week. I'm going to kick things off. We're going to go to the Bay at San Francisco. I had the Chiefs -3. This line feels really weird to me, and I'm not falling for the trap. I know the Chiefs had a little letdown week last week against the Bills at home. Maybe a game they should have won, a very uncharacteristic interception of Patrick Mahomes late in the game. I think they get right this week. I think they not only cover that spread, I think they win this game by a couple possessions against San Francisco. They're really banged up. Williams, Lance, etc. This team is really banged up, and Patrick Mahomes is 50-13 coming off a loss in his career. So I like my odds there. Next, you know it was coming. You knew it was coming. The New York Football Giants again. We're going to ride this wagon until the wheels literally fall off. Giants against Jacksonville. They're a 3-point underdog. Vegas can keep hating. I'm fine with that. Guess what? I'm still gonna pick it because obviously I'm 5-0 with the Giants. The 1 week I didn't pick them, they lost, so I got to keep picking them. At this rate, as Cal Butcher, our professor, was saying, we might see a Giants-Jets Super Bowl. No chance. But we got to ride with the wagon, like I said, until the wheels fall off. So give me the Giants +3 as they go to Jacksonville to take on the Jags. And my last one, bit of a weird one, Raiders and Texans. The over-under is set at 44.5. I'm going to go over. These teams feel like they're just on a collision course for a lot of points. Neither of these defenses are really good. Devontae Adams coming back, I hope. These two teams are just on this weird collision course right now, and I feel like there's going to be a lot of points. Obviously, it's in a dome. So I'm gonna just take the points with this game. There's not really going to be anybody cheering for either side, but so let's just take the points. Who we got next?
Yeah, I like the San Francisco game you chose there with Kansas. I mean, San Francisco, you got to keep in mind, they just got beat by 14 points, too, by Atlanta in Atlanta. Right. And, they've always been a team that can knock off a couple of big teams. But, I mean,
undefeated against the spread currently.
Oh, yeah, that was a 14-point game. I mean, it wasn't even close. I mean, Jimmy G.
Mariota's looked okay this year.
Little revival season for Marcus Mariota.
Not a comeback just yet, but he's been decent.
I mean, I'll go next here. Look, I got the Patriots -7. They played well the last 2 weeks, 29-0 against the Detroit Lions. After that, they won 38-15 against the Cleveland Browns. I mean, that game was a little bit wider of a spread than it should have been. They scored 2 touchdowns right at the end there to make it 38. It was 24-15. Really should have probably been 31-15 at the final score. But, I mean, I was impressed with their passing attack. Bailey Zappi played extremely well for the Patriots this week. I mean, look, you can't really ask more from a third-string quarterback than 300 yards passing and 2 touchdowns. So
you're right.
But you got to keep in mind this team is led by the rushing attack, 9th in rush yards, 3rd in rush touchdowns this season. The Bears are dead last in the rushing attack this season, so I don't think they'll have a problem doing that. I mean, look, the Patriots also second or top 8 in sacks this season, and Montgomery, they're also a top 8 rush defense this year. So Montgomery's not going to do anything. They're going to stack the box to get to Fields. So I don't think the Patriots can have a problem covering that on Monday Night Football against Chicago. The next one I got is the Packers. A lot of people didn't agree with this one.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't agree with this
team-
one either.
They just lost 17 points to the Jets, but I think the Jets are actually, if you watch that defense, Sauce Gardner has become a shutdown corner in just his first year. That rushing attack has really started to come along at that defensive line. And, I mean, Washington just lost Carson Wentz, so they're stuck with Taylor Heineke this week.
I don't think this is
Stuck
stuck
with?
situation. I don't
No,
think it's a stuck
absolutely
situation.
not.
I think this team finally needs some juice playing against a team that
Come
has.
on, guys. Come on,
Taylor
guys.
Heineke-
Taylor
They have
Heineke's
no-
not
the
an
Packers
upgrade.
have no
He's got
pulse.
good
They
field
stink.
sense.
They stink. I'm sorry.
He's
The Packers
athletic.
they're bad.
You
They're
guys
not
know
good.
I don't like Carson Wentz, but Taylor Heineke is not an upgrade over Carson Wentz. I'm sorry.
Yes,
he is.
No, he's not. There's no
100%.
chance he is.
100%.
Carson
He's
Carson
an
Wentz is
upgrade
like
over
not a
Carson
good
Wentz.
quarterback, but I don't think
Carson
Taylor
Wentz has
Heineke's
more
any better.
talent, but he never shows it. Taylor Heineke, I like it. He can scramble.
They're gonna.
He can
Washington's
throw.
gonna scrap in this game. I'm
Yep.
not saying they're gonna win, but 5 is a lot
No
of
cover
points.
five.
Anyway,
Yeah.
another reason why that game's not going to hit. I mean, bottom 5 in rush defense for Washington this year. They got A.J. Dillon and Aaron Jones. You're going to
But
tell
they
me
don't
that
use them.
they're not going to rush them?
They don't use them.
They're going to use them against Washington.
That's why they lost to the Jets, is they didn't use their run
They
game.
almost, this is a Green Bay
The
team.
Jets are a top 10 rushing defense.
Listen. This is a Green Bay team that almost lost to Brian Hoyer, then Bailey Zappi at home at Lambeau. They don't lose games at Lambeau. Almost lost that one. Went across the pond to New York. They played the wagon. They played the buzzsaw. So they lose there. And then they come back at home and play the Jets and lose there. This Green Bay team has no momentum. They're going to Washington. I understand that their fan base isn't the greatest, but you're still going on the road.
The Giants,
You're
Jets,
playing a
and
quarterback
Patriots
that's
are
trying to
all
prove
way better
himself.
than
Green
Washington.
Bay is so stuck in the mud right now.
I would agree.
They're
This
gonna
team
win that
has
game
no
by a
juice.
touchdown.
They have no juice. I agree.
That's not
the
safe
Jets,
at all.
the Giants, and the Patriots are all 10 times better than Washington.
It's not safe at all.
All right, Ziggy.
Like-
what are your 3?
Hey, I got
Oh, no,
one
shoot,
more.
he's
I got
one more. He's
I
one
got
more. He's one more. He's
Don't
one more.
come off too soon
Apologies.
here.
Apologies. My
I
bad.
got Arizona and New Orleans over. I mean,
Yeah, I kinda
Arizona, you got DeAndre Hopkins back. You just got Robbie Anderson. I don't really expect him to be huge in that offense this week. He's probably still going to be learning that offense. Obviously, can't really learn it that well. But they do get DeAndre Hopkins back. That is a huge piece to return to help Kyler Murray in the passing game, where he has been 3rd in completions this year, but yet 16th in passing efficiency. So that's really going to help him in that category. And look,
Thursday night overs are so due.
oh yeah,
so
it has
due.
to be. I mean,
It's
it
so
has
due.
to be. And New Orleans, Jameis Winston going to come back this week. He was emergency quarterback last week. Will get the start this week for New Orleans. Michael Thomas won't play, but Chris Olave will. He had a little bit of an injury this week, but will play. So I don't think. And the Saints, 27th in total defensive efficiency. Cardinals, 18th in total defensive efficiency. I don't see a problem with that over there at 45.
I like them.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Everybody seems to always like
Except
my
the Green
picks.
Bay one. I don't like that one.
Yeah, Green
Everybody
Bay's
seems to
pretty
always
bad.
like my picks, but yet I go 3-3 every week, I feel like.
Well, you should really like my picks. But yeah.
Moving on to some.
All right, Zico. I'm cheering for you. Get to second
last
place.
week.
Let's go. Come on.
First off, I got Giants +3. I'm going with you.
Welcome.
The Jaguars have lost at home to the Texans this year. They
Yes.
had 400+ yards of offense 2 weeks ago and didn't score a touchdown. I mean, this team has been so up and down. And you know who's been consistent? I'm shocked to say it. The Giants have been consistent. Good coaching so far this year. Massive comeback win against the Ravens this week. Momentum. Giants, I think are going 6-1, but I'm gonna take the points. Can't really believe they're underdogs there, but if they're giving it to me, then I'm
Might as
taking
well
them.
take 'em.
Exactly.
That's another team you got to talk about. Baltimore, what, three blown leads by 10+ points this season already?
Yeah, it's a bit ridiculous. But the Giants, we're riding with them.
Love it.
Lions, Cowboys, over 48 points. 2 really good offenses. The Lions, really just one of the worst defenses in the NFL, and the second best offense in the NFL. I feel like I don't even really need to talk about the Cowboys here, considering the Lions are perfectly capable of scoring 48 points on their own. So over 48, no real explanation there. I just think it's pretty easy.
Is Dak
Like,
Prescott coming back this week?
Yes.
Yeah, he
Okay.
is. I mean, Cooper Rush has been fine for the Cowboys.
Threw
so
3
that's-
interceptions.
You
last
just
week.
need Dallas to score 17.
Yeah, exactly.
Detroit will take
the
care
Lions
of this.
will do the rest.
Detroit should take care of this. I
Yep.
agree with you there.
And finally, so you have your wagon in East Rutherford with the Giants.
I do.
Who are 5-1.
I do.
There's another team in East Rutherford, and
There
they're
is.
4-2. and they're undefeated with Zach Wilson at quarterback. Give me the Jets money line in Denver, plus 135 odds. Broncos are lost right now.
They stink.
They are
stink.
so lost. If you watched that Monday Night Football game last night, they had hope for one quarter.
Dude, I thought Russell Wilson was actually back for a half.
They fell off a cliff.
I think Nathaniel Hackett's an idiot. Like
Yep.
he put together a good first half of play calling, and then it's just so night and day. This Broncos team is so disorganized. I like all three of your picks, really.
Fourth
I really
quarter and overtime for the Broncos yesterday was one of the worst displays of play calling I think I've ever seen.
And
especially
the
on
muff punt didn't help.
that.
either,
Yeah,
but
that too. But yeah, give me the Jets. Move to 5-2.
Let's do it.
I like Zach Wilson. I like Sauce Gardner. Great defense. Good offense. Those are going to be my three this week.
All right, fellas. Those are some solid picks and the Green Bay pick. but
Okay,
we got another
when
guy.
it hits, you'll see.
He's been stringing together some solid picks. He's steering away from player props, finally. But NBA season is upon us. Jackson Bezdek has some season futures, over wins, under wins. He's got it all right back here after the break.
Walking alone in a college town can be dangerous, no matter the time of day. Lawrence might seem like a small town, but there is still tons of crime that happens. You never know where and or when people are planning to attack, so it is better to be safe than sorry. Being by yourself is never the answer. That's why people should always walk within a buddy system. Having at least 3 people to walk with can help with getting home safer. Going out in a bigger group is definitely the way to go, so everyone can be assured they are safe. If walking home isn't an option, calling KU Safe Ride is the next best option, or ordering an Uber with your friends. Stay safe and always keep a buddy with you.
Welcome back. Bez is back here, switching to the NBA. We've had some fun with the NFL, but it gets a little repetitive after a few weeks. So with basketball season starting tonight, I thought it'd be the perfect time to get you some over-under season win totals so you can play some right before the season starts. Starting off with a controversial one, off rip. Not many of my cast members of this show agree with this, but I have the Sacramento Kings over 33.5. And I think that they could win 40, 45 games. And let me tell you why. This kid right here, De'Aaron Fox, everything rides on his shoulders right now. Last year, we saw a little bit of inconsistency. We're seeing a little bit of baby Russell Westbrook syndrome with him. It's a little too early to call that, but there are times throughout the games where he will take the ball and go to the basket when that is just simply not there. If he can learn to really be a facilitator for this team, I think they're going to be really good because their offensive weapons are really good. They signed Kevin Huerter, bring him in to play the 2 guard. Harrison Barnes is still there at the 3. I think they might trade Harrison Barnes early on in the year, depending on how the season goes in the start. But he's still there as of now and can still score 17 points a game. Keegan Murray, their 4th overall pick out of Iowa, looked really good in Summer League and looked really good in the preseason. I think he's going to make a legitimate impact right now. That guy can score the basketball at any level. And then at center, they have DeMontis Sabonis as well. He's kind of been, back and forth defensively, but offensively, he has a lot of really talented moves. And I think if De'Aaron can really learn how to facilitate the ball, I think this Kings team is going to be really good and can actually contend to be in the play-in tournament as a 10 seed. Oh yeah, and Davion Mitchell out of Baylor. He's awesome. Everyone loves him. Just a complete freak on the defensive end. Moving on, my first under is Portland Trailblazers. The Trailblazers are going to be bad. They are not going to be good. Don't let the last couple years before COVID fool you with Damian Lillard and CJ McCollum going crazy. I'm sorry, I don't know if you've watched basketball since 2020 since it's been kind of weird with the seasons. CJ McCollum's not there anymore. He's not. He's on New Orleans. It's pretty much Dame. Anthony Simon's there, and he's pretty cool. He's probably one of the best catch-and-shoot three-point shooters in the league, actually. But I don't know who's going to play any defense on this team. It's definitely not going to be either of these two because Yusuf Nurkic can't guard anybody down low. Yeah, he can make a couple of hook shots, but he's not going to play any defense. I think this team might legitimately give up 130 points a game. I don't see in any world in the Western Conference where they get to 40 wins. I think this line is way too high. I would have personally put it at 34, 35.5 wins. I'm taking a huge under on the Trailblazers here. Next up, Milwaukee Bucks. Do I really even need to continue this part of the segment? Just look at this guy. Giannis Antetokounmpo, what a beast. Unless he gets hurt, they will win 60 games. And of course, knock on wood, nobody wants him to get hurt. He's one of the most fun players to watch probably ever, I would say, at least top 10 to just ever watch, just because he's just so amazing and something we've never seen before. But I really don't see how they don't get to 60 wins. The East is better than last year. I actually think, there's so many good teams in the NBA this year. There are 12 teams in both conferences that you can argue with me that can make that 10 seed play-in spot. And that's after expanding the playoff picture. But I don't know how the Bucks don't get to 60 games or 60 wins. With Chris Middleton will be fully healthy. They still have Drew Holiday. They still have Brook Lopez. They still have Bobby Portis. It is literally the same team that won the title. Like, I don't think they've really made a whole bunch of important moves since then. They haven't brought anybody in. They haven't let anybody leave. And I don't think they need to because they have an awesome culture and they have this guy. Bucks over 53.5 wins. Next up, we have the Spurs. My number one tanking team of the whole year. They unloaded house. Their best player right now is Keldon Johnson. Their second best player is Jakob Poeltl. Their starting point guard is Trey Jones. That's the kid from Duke who is Zion's point guard. This team is not good, just straight up. And even, not only are they not good, they're not going to try and be good because Greg Popovich and that Spurs front offense wants the French wonder, the alien, Victor Wembanyama. Remember that name because you're going to bet on him to win Rookie of the Year next year when he enters the league, even though it'll be like minus 450. Because this guy is 7'4" and has the skill set of Kevin Durant. It's pretty ridiculous. He's going to be the number one pick next year, and this is the team that's going to try and tank to get him the most. It's going to be ridiculous. It's not going to be good. Just a heads up. Sixers over 50.5 wins. This is kind of my sleeper pick, I guess you can say, in the East. Even though last year they won 51 games, and I can argue that they got better this year. They added pieces to their bench like backup point guard DeAndre Melton. He's going to be really good for them. They have Tyrese Maxey, who's going to progress another year. He could win Most Improved Player because I think he can legitimately average 20 points a game because I don't think Harden's going to be in that score-only mode. I actually think, because we saw him take a pay cut in the offseason, he didn't sign a huge max contract. He signed a huge contract, but he could have made $30 million more than what he signed for because he's actually bought into this Sixers team now. We know Joel Embiid's been bought in. We know he's going to probably compete for MVP once again this year. Please, Lord, let him stay healthy. But James Harden, I think he's going to be like 19, 12, and 7 at this point. I mean, he's in the stage of his career where he's ready to pass and facilitate the ball, and I think it's going to be really fun to watch on the Sixers team. Tyrese Maxey, breakout year. They still have Tobias Harris. This is going to be a great team. They're definitely going to win over 50 games, in my opinion. And now I just want to give an honorable mention to the New Orleans Pelicans because of our hero, Devontae Graham. I actually do think they're going to get over 44.5 wins. I didn't put it in my top 5 locks because there's still some questions with Zion's health. Can he actually play a full season? But a big 3 right here. Dite off the bench. They're a really fun team. Jose Alvarado off the bench as well. I think that's going to be a fun team to watch. I kind of just hope they get 45 wins just because I think it'll be a fun team to cheer for. But that's about it. That's all I have for you guys. The boys are going to come back with some miscellaneous picks. Not just college football. We're going to see a little bit extra too. So stay tuned.
Are you feeling overwhelmed from all your schoolwork? It's okay to take a break. Go for a walk. Listen to some music. Mental health is serious, and it's time to take care of yourself. So go ahead, take a break.
Back to On the Clock. We're doing something a little bit different this week. We've got miscellaneous locks. So
This should be fun. I'm pumped.
Yeah,
we get to kind of choose what sports we want to go with. And you guys don't know me very well, but I'm always going to choose baseball 110% of the time. Especially in the postseason. Especially in the postseason.
Not even in the postseason.
I
Get
wish
ready
I
for some
could.
2-1 baseball games.
Baseball is awesome. I don't care what you say.
You're telling me you don't like the World Series, Jackson?
No, I do, but not as much as I like every other playoff format. But go
Anyway.
on. Sorry, I'm not here to rain on your parade because this is your heater season. So
Thank
keep
you.
keep going. Sorry.
I wish I could be talking about the Mariners. I cannot, unfortunately. But I can be talking about the Padres and the Phillies, which is a really exciting series. And Game 1 of the NLCS is tonight. I have the Padres money line, minus 125. We know Manny Machado is great. He's got a 152 WRC plus. League average is 100. That's enough said. Juan Soto has an over 400 on base percentage. He's a star. Don't get me wrong. Where the Padres become better than you is with the bottom of their order. Trent Grisham is
Playoff
crazy
Grisham.
right now.
Brewer for life.
He's batting 381 with 3 homers in the postseason and a 263 WRC plus in the postseason. League average is 100. He is 163 points over league average in the postseason. Dude's been a monster. The bottom of the Padres lineup has been absurd so far. That's how they've been able to beat the 101-win Mets and beat the 111-win Dodgers. I mean, this team is hot right now. They're at home tonight. They're going to come out swinging and get a big win in Game 1 of the NLCS. Then I have Yu Darvish, who's on the mound tonight, over 5.5 strikeouts. Yu Darvish has 9.11 Ks per 9 this year in the regular season and 8.25 in the postseason. If Yu Darvish just goes 6 innings, he's going to have 6+ strikeouts. It's not guessing. It's a guarantee that will happen. Yu Darvish goes deep into games. He keeps his pitch count low. He has a good whiff rate. I mean, everything sets up for Yu Darvish to easily go over 5.5 strikeouts in Game 1. And then finally, one that we may know if I'm right on Tuesday. We may not know if I'm right on Tuesday. The Padres to win the NLCS. Yeah, I have the Padres going back to the World Series for the first time since 1998 and for the second time in their franchise's history. They're hot right now. I know they only won 87 games throughout the year, but the Padres just beat 2 of the best teams in baseball just to get to the NLCS, and they have home field advantage in the NLCS.
It's hard to deny the hottest team in baseball.
Exactly. They're the hottest
It's
team
just
in
hard to deny.
baseball.
I agree with that.
Josh Hader hasn't given up a run since September 1st.
Brewer for life.
Their bullpen is elite. Their starting pitching is really good. 1 through 9 in their order is right now hitting better than anyone else's 1 through 9 in the postseason. Give me the Padres to go all the way to the World Series. Heck, maybe even they win it, but we'll talk about that if we get to that road.
That's a conversation for another day. Dylan, I know you've got a little bit of baseball, you got a little bit of football. Explain to us what you got going on.
Look, I like the Phillies and Padres series too. If you would have told me that about 3 months ago that was going to be the NLCS, I would have called you insane. I would have said there's no chance Philadelphia is going to make the playoffs. I would have probably said that a month ago, and they're probably the hottest team in baseball right now. So, look, I got the under in the Game 1. Yu Darvish on the mound against Zach Wheeler. Zach Wheeler, me and Ziggy were talking about this a little bit before. Zach Wheeler kind of, he can get you 6-7 shutout innings. He can get you, 3 innings and get shelled for 4 or 5 runs. But I do think Zach Wheeler will be fine. I think he's going to pitch through 6. I think he might give up 1 or 2. I think it's going to be a 4-2 ball game. It's not going to go over 6.5 runs. On the other side, you got Yu Darvish. Yu Darvish, I don't really need to say anything about Yu Darvish. If you know baseball, he's been solid for San Diego all year. Give me that under real quick and 6.5.
My only worry there, though, is the Phillies' offense was stellar in the
It's
NLDS
been good. No, it has been good. They've been.
Okay.
These are two really hot teams, and I'm with Veen on this. I think we're coming at a crossroads here, and I think there's just going to be like a 2-1, just a fist fight tonight.
Yeah, see, I would agree with you. It was like Game 5, Game 6. I could see it being more of a high-scoring type of game, but I think the Game 1 it's going to be a little bit more low-scoring. It's going to start off kind of pitching matchup. Then the other one I want is going to be a little player prop. Rhys Hoskins going to have 1+ hit off Yu Darvish tonight, or over San Diego if it happened to be in a bullpen. But he's 3 for 6 off Darvish this year in 2 games against them. He had 1 double. He had 4. And versus Atlanta the last 2 games, 3 for 8 with 4 RBIs. He's hot the last couple of games, and there's 2 big wins that they had versus Atlanta to close out that series. So, Rhys Hoskins 1+ hit seems very, very, very confident right now in that. And I'm going to switch over. Look, Jackson's got the Giants. I've got the OK State over. Oklahoma State has hit the over.
It's every week.
Every week. Every week I have bet on that. They have hit it. They're playing the U of T this week. I think that's going to be a great game. Quinn Ewers back, obviously, for Texas the last couple of weeks. They've been borderline unstoppable since he's been back. So, OK State, U of T, over 64, give it to me. I don't think that's even going to be close.
No, I agree with you. And I also have a bit of action on that game as well. I know Bez said they're not just talking college football. Well, I'm just talking college football. It's where I've been good this year. I got to keep riding. Yes, I'm starting with that Oklahoma State game. Give me Oak State +6 against Texas. This is going to be a really good football game. Both teams need to win this game if they want to prove that they're legit and want a chance in the Big 12 championship game. This is going to be a great football game, and I think Oklahoma State's the better team. Give me the Pokes +6. Next, another Big 12 game, TCU, money line against K-State. No way I could ever pick K-State confidently. And I think TCU is really, really good. They just showed you how good they are. They beat Oklahoma State. Did it take 2 overtimes? Yes. Did they show you that they can get it done at home and on the road? Yes. They came right in our backyard and beat Kansas at the booth. This is a good football team. Max Duggan, dark horse Heisman. There, I said it. He's been really good. This team is really, really good. They have the pieces going together. Give me TCU to take care of business against K-State. Obviously, just money line, not spread. And then I got a little Maction Diamond in the Rough game at 1 p.m. on Saturday in Athens, Ohio. The Ohio Bobcats are playing the Northern Illinois Huskies, and Ohio is going to cover a 2.5-point spread. They're underdogs.
That's the weirdest game to take
It's very
ever.
weird,
That's
but
so
it just
weird.
might hit. It just might hit.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie to you.
Ohio's a
Jackson, I don't really know that much.
2.5-point dog. Do I think they're going to cover this? Yes. Do I know why? No, I don't. But I'm just like, this looks good. So we're going to take it. That is just about it. All we have. Fellas, closing thoughts before we send the people off.
6-0 this week. Calling
Yeah,
it.
right.
No, you're going 3-3. And Reed,
I
you're
like almost
weird.
every single
Who-
week.
I don't know.
Who takes a Mac pick as their lock?
We're
But
getting dicey on the clock now.
who knows?
But thank you guys very much for tuning in. As always, be sure to follow us on Instagram. We're up in the content on Instagram. We've got locks, futures, all kinds of stuff going up on our Instagram. Behind the scenes of the show, all kinds of good stuff going up on Instagram. Thank you guys for tuning in, and as always, take care.